Well, folks, we're going to be talking with Progressive Victory today to talk about how to get organized, how to contribute to specific campaigns. Because for a long time, I've been telling you guys, hey, get involved with your local Dems, get involved with your local DSA. Some of you don't feel comfortable doing that for different reasons, but all of you can get involved with a campaign that has a candidate with a face, presumably, who is willing to go to bat for the little guy, which is all of you. You're all little guys, all right? Who are those guys? Never heard of them. I've worked a lot with Progressive Victory in the past, and you know what? We're gonna jump on in here, and I'm gonna pull them into the voice chat, and then hopefully we'll get video working. Let's do that. Here we go. Boop. Boop.
Oh, it's not.
We're doing it live. In. Hello, you're in.
Hi.
Hello. Let me get this show on the road here.
I have no idea what's going on with my camera, so
oh,
I guess you're just gonna have to get a whole look at Jenny, and then Benjamin's just gonna be out there on his own, unfortunately.
Let me see here.
Also, thank you, Sake. I got one of the subscriptions. Thank you.
Oh, hell yeah. All right.
Fuck you, Sake. Yeah, use Super Chat.
Yeah, Jack, you're one of the few people who manages to, or one of the few streamers who manages to say my name right the first time. When Hassan read it out a couple of years ago, like last year, he straight up butchered it and said Jenny Wordlerferson.
She always tells the story. She's like obsessed or something.
I think it's funny.
Yeah, that's the reason. Anyway, it's good getting a chance to talk to you again.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What's PV? I've never heard of PV before. Benjamin?
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of this thing called Progressive Victory before?
Yeah, what is this thing?
Yeah.
It's a slush fund for Destiny.
It's very true.
No, but for real, we have actually been working together for quite some time. I go back with Progressive Victory back to when the original founder was like just kind of testing out these ideas in like the streaming space. We did like I think you can still find it on my channel, like a very small like Medicare for all type rally way back in like 2022 maybe.
That sounds about right.
Ooh, one of the OG streamers.
One of the OGs, yeah.
Yeah, and then we worked together on what was it? We did a trans group kind of for political organizing.
I believe it was called the Transel Culture Squad or something like that.
It was like Transel Culture or something like that. It you know, the name probably could have workshopped it a little bit more, but you know what?
I think you should have called it Transgender for Everybody, personally.
Well, it was before Transgender for Everybody.
You could have been ahead of the game.
I know.
Pioneer.
Really. We could have been the ones that they're talking about. The branding opportunities. But we then worked together over the years to like organize people for midterms and for the general election around
2024.
Yeah, 2024-ish. And worked a little bit together during like the ICE siege of Minneapolis.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're here gearing up for the midterms. And yeah, can you guys just tell people what's up this time? What are we cooking?
If anybody has seen PV's Twitter page, you'll know that we have far too many endorsements. We've scoured the entire political landscape and found only the most progressive and interesting and sometimes deranged candidates that we can find, and we say, hey, we think you should be in office. That's what we've been getting up to. But in all seriousness, we've been doing a lot of stuff. By the way, for people in chat who don't know who we are, we didn't really introduce ourselves.
Yeah, please do.
I'm Jenny. In chat, I'm Jenny Wilferson. I am the community manager for PV. I regularly run our candidate AMAs where we bring in political candidates from all over the spectrum. We've had Abdullah Sayed, we've had Katie Banzel, we've had Analilia Mejia on our stream several times.
Hell yeah.
And then this blue form to my left, I guess, I don't know, there's mirrored screens everywhere, is Benjamin. Some of you may know him. I know some of you know him because you're in frequenters of Vosh Chat.
Yeah. Hey, I'm Benjamin. If you watch Vosh Chat, you know me as the Benjamin that Vosh is always yelling at, or BGL. Mm-hmm. I'm the deputy executive director for Progressive Victory, and I joined in around 2024, like many others in the org, alpha whim after Vosh pitched it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was one of the first that joined PV, but I didn't really get that involved until like summer of last year, where I finally had the personal capacity to get a little bit more directly into the whole thing. And now I'm here.
Well, and what exactly, like, Progressive Victory, as I've seen it, has historically been an org that works broadly along left-leaning lines to get people out to vote, to get people phone banking, text banking, door knocking, kind of operating as like a way to mobilize people online to take real-world action that isn't necessarily confined in the same way to, going to your local Democratic meetings or going to your local DSA meetings. This is kind of like a third, I don't want to say a third way. That's not exactly...
A third space, if you will.
A third space might be a much more accurate way of putting it. Essentially...
In a very real way.
In a very real way. We are trying to create PV into like an actual like digital third space for people that they can go out and... Like you say, like not this like one community. Or the other, like going to your DSA or going to your Dems where it's like this kind of like very like we're doing stuff, we're this, we're that, we're the other. But no, we're trying to create like an actual community that is politically minded, politically oriented, and willing most often to go out and do a lot of work for people, or do a lot of work for like volunteering for candidates and volunteering for various causes.
Yeah, I guess the best way to sort of explain it is sort of to just do like a 1 minute run through of sort of the history of PV. I think that sort of illustrates it the best. It started out as a sort of experiment by our founder Sam Drzmala as
or Dr. Zamalis, as we sometimes call him.
Still obsessed with that Hassan moment.
I think it's funny.
As a sort of way to say, hey, there is real power to these content creators and their audiences. How can we get them to engage with the political process? And it took off in a way that I don't think Sam saw coming or could have predicted, especially considering it launched as PV22, something that was supposed to end at the end of the year. And the community that built up just wouldn't let it die, despite the best efforts of people there to make mistakes. So because of that, it sort of naturally leaned into a more organizing mindset. But in reality, PV is meant to be something a little bit bigger. It's meant to be sort of, I guess, I don't know, X the everything org. What it's really trying to do is take a very broad approach to sort of push the party and the country left by focusing on many different fronts, but by having a grounded social community at the center pulling these things together. So it means having a media department that's focused on trying to recreate the magic of the Vox YouTube channel from back when it was like good a few years ago. There's a tech department that's trying to rebuild things like NGP Van, or right now Jira, or in the future, hopefully our own little OBS fork. There's our organizing department, which does do get out the vote organizing. It does work with candidates. There's our political department, which embeds in campaigns, and is focusing on a little project we call Operation DNC. And then there's our operations department, which makes sure the org doesn't run out of money. So it's meant to sort of be, there's a lot of different wings. And then the biggest and most important is that community department, is that community, because trying to create a digital third space is the thing that pulls all of this together. It's a place where people can find friends and then accidentally volunteer if they feel like it or not.
Okay. Yeah, like it has grown in ways, because I haven't been like directly involved with PV since canvassing for Jamal Bowman, and also a brief blip for Minneapolis under assault by ICE. Mm-hmm. And so it seems like the org has changed quite a bit.
Dramatically.
It's almost it we like to describe it as like, from both like a foundational level and from a couple of other places, it is like a different org since summer of 2025. Like it is literally like almost a complete refresh, just with a lot of like.
It's basically like we had to start from the beginning. A lot of stuff had to, it's sort of been the intention and the aspiration for PV to always be this always on sort of organization where campaigns, like one of the motivators for Sam was that like he worked on so many campaigns, and then when they finished, their entire apparatus just disappeared.
Yeah.
And one of the really big motivations for him was creating something where you could loan out an apparatus for candidates so that it doesn't have to disappear, and so that it can still be useful, and so that it can stay activated and stay motivated and diligent and disciplined. But we sort of, just because of the nature of the dynamics, the system, the incentive structures, fell into the same trap of like, hey, election's over, get fucked. So it sort of left us in a place where we had to rebuild many times over. In a way, it's a real return to form, back to more of that 2022 model that is a lot more community focused. And in a lot of ways, it's also a pretty massive reinvention and step forward. And
it's actually
there's more steps to go because we're reinventing the organizing department again this month.
Yeah. One of the strangest things that we've actually experienced as we've shifted towards like more of a community mindset is that we see more activity almost in the off season when there aren't a ton of elections happening. Like we helped we had back in like fall and winter of 2025, we did this thing called the 5 initiatives, where we had a whole bunch of candidates that we were supporting, and then we in the postmortem for that, we took a look at like various kinds of metrics and various kinds of like how did we do, and we found that community activity flatlined. It didn't really go up, it didn't really go down, but over the course of like 2.5, 3 months, we didn't experience any growth whatsoever. And then the moment that ended, we started focusing again on like the actual community space of things. Activity started to go up, and our organizing has been better for it since.
Yeah, we call this organizer brain, when you sort of lock into this, like, we need to get everybody in a phone bank, we can't let them relax. And it's like, no, you don't want to try and get people to volunteer. You want people to accidentally volunteer. I sort of try to, I make the joke that a lot of the issues with some chapters of the DSA is that they do a book club and call it socialism and volunteering and organizing. But we make a book club and we call it a book club, and then they read The Hobbit.
Then you read The Hobbit and you become radicalized.
Yeah.
To the conservative side, right? They are planting their flag on
true
Tolkien
and real
these days.
No, we are radical liberals. Actually, we are. Mm-hmm. I am a certified lover of Brianna Wu. That's a joke, by the way.
God, don't even. But speaking of, there is like that association still. Like I worked at PV with Brianna Wu, and it was not the best experience, I will say. How
for you and many others.
Yeah, how has the org changed politically, especially since she's no longer affiliated in any form with it?
Well, what's interesting is that I don't think it's accurate to say that it's changed if you take it from the start. But it has changed relative to that moment. So the org started with Vosh's community, and then pretty much very quickly picked up like you and Dylan, and a few other people. So it was always a very socialist project, a very like, fairly dark woke, extremely trans.
Very trans, very autistic, very terminally online streamer watchers.
But as there was this idea of, hey, let's unite the audiences of the big three, Vosh, Destiny, and Hassan, that fundamentally sort of came with the, well, if we're going to be a big tent, that's fundamentally a concession. And I don't think that that was necessarily a bad idea. Certainly a bad execution, but I don't necessarily think that it was a bad idea. But it's not where we're going anymore, and it's not, I think, where what the movement and the moment is demanding. If it was, maybe that'd be a different story, but we're a pretty explicitly socialist org now. We're pushing. I would say that in order to be progressive right now, you have to at least flirt with socialism, because, you know, progressive is sort of relative to the center.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, internally we have, I mean, not even internally, we have like a what we call the PV pledge, which is the thing that we want our closest associated political candidates to like sign on to. It's a list of 10 policies, all of which are like pretty on the left-leaning side. And internally, we understand that it is not where we are aspiring to.
Yeah, it's pretty right-wing of what we actually want. It's not what we believe in. It's what we think candidates should believe in.
Yes. And we want to move past it.
I just put it in the group chat if you want to share it.
We want to move past it, of course. And we actually encourage candidates who are further to the left of it to publicly blast us for not making it left enough, so we can be like, I know, we're sorry.
Yeah. And I would say the big change is sort of, before we were very afraid to like say what we believe and to be very explicit about it because of who we might alienate or who we might choose to volunteer for and who it would upset or push away or alienate. And now we just kind of don't give a fuck. Like, I don't know, there's a certain level of harassment and brigading that once you get enough of it, you're sort of just like, okay, you want to kill me? I want to kill you too. Whatever, let's go. Let's throw.
By the way, you can tell that we're a very autist-friendly org because one of the big points on our PV pledge is make trains now, please and thank you.
It's true. It's true. We love a good transit. Now, there is a good question coming from one of my mods. What is the plan to keep PV from just becoming a clubhouse that does work sometimes instead of fun and organizing?
That's a great question. So that's actually what
we've been talking about that a lot over the last couple of months.
Yeah, he works as an operations manager, so like he's genuinely very interested. So
a lot of what we spent the last year and a half not year and a half, just year concepting is our new structure for organizing that we call it community first digital organizing. And the reason we say community first is because our model relies on having a thriving digital and national online community and then in-person local communities, and utilizing those to create safe, politics-free friend groups that are adjacent to volunteering and are associated with the internet personalities that they relate to in order to keep them informed about the politics in a way that is a little bit separate from the org itself. But what we've done is we've sort of created this separation between our state teams, where before it was just sort of like a single organizing team, which would end up taking from the community and sort of harming activity because of, organizer brain. But now we structure the teams to have a political wing, a organizer wing, and a community wing.
Mm-hmm. With like kind of the foundational base being like a community focus that gets people to like enjoy themselves in like person. Sorry, that came out a little bit weird.
Yeah. So
don't enjoy yourselves publicly in that way. Just enjoy each other's company,
I like enjoying myself both in public and in private. But
I'm surprised you've not been arrested. Holy shit. I mean, you do live in Florida, so it does make sense.
But it kind of sounds like a systematized, you have people
it's about
come
incentive
in.
structures.
Yeah.
It's that you'll have organizers who are super attached to organizing, and you'll have political people who are super attached to interacting and engaging with candidates. And then you'll have people who are extremely attached to not being anywhere the fuck near that. And the tension and balance between those three things creates a really healthy dynamic that keeps a really healthy social space, a really healthy organizing space, and a really healthy fleet of political operatives.
So
or at least
that
that's
tension,
theory.
Just to really hammer home this is by and for autists. It sounds like you've just recreated like the Fire Emblem weapon triangle, but for political organizing.
We've recreated rock, paper, scissors, but for organizing.
So it's funny that you mentioned
more
that
accessible.
Because one of the first things that I implemented when I joined leadership was something called this triangular structure. And it's that every team or group of volunteers had to be led by either one person with two deputies or two people with a shared deputy. And the idea for that being just the incentive structures and balances. And I get made fun of for this a lot, despite it being objectively correct.
You don't get made fun of by anybody in PV anymore. It obviously works.
You'd be surprised.
I have no idea who'd do it. It's been very helpful for me.
She says while pretending not to be one of the people who does it.
I don't make fun of you for it. He's literally fucking losing his mind.
Okay.
So what?
I make fun of you for other stuff, just not that.
What, like, we're kind of talking in like some broad strokes about a lot of the elements of this. What does it actually look like when someone like comes into PV and wants to get involved? Maybe we can go down like the pipeline. What does that look
like? What the fuck are all these channels? That's what it looks like.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. There's a lot of channels.
We're working on that, but ideally, what it works on is you join the org and you see sort of activity in a VC or activity in a channel, and you think to yourself, wow, that's interesting. And if you're like a lot of the people in PV, that's also, well, that's really intimidating. I hope there's a place to join that doesn't have that many people. And right around that moment, you'll get a message from someone on our welcome team basically saying, hey, welcome to PV. What are you interested in? And then you'll go through this welcome pipeline where you have a person who will communicate with you and sort of give you a soft onboarding into PV and then direct you to your state team in order to learn more about the org and build some relationships that can help figure out exactly where you are most interested in either volunteering or just hanging out.
Yeah, because you also mentioned like this connects people to like people in their states so that they can form both an online and an offline kind of camaraderie.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like what do offline activities look like? Because I'm trying to like paint a picture for folks who have no point of reference here.
Going to an arcade and spending like $20 and having fun with people.
Like it's just
doing
an
MTG drafts game, and you just happen to all be people from PV that you just met. So there are obviously like canvas events that we do and local canvassing. But what we're really trying to do is make it so that we have these things called state initiatives. But there's something that the whole team agrees on to do the initiative for, and it's something that is the state's big organizing priority. And like, sure, there's canvassing for that, there's phone banking, but that's not everywhere. You can only canvass where you need to canvass. So most of what we want the IRL activities to be is just building friend groups that can be resilient in a time where community is needed and important because every institution is about to blow up and die. And hopefully those friend groups are also activatable for a cause.
Yeah.
Part of the reason that we are investing in this is like some people may be thinking, but like, why aren't you're a political org? Why aren't you doing like political organizing and activism? We do, but here's the big thing that we've really noticed, or one of the things that we can really notice. It's easy to just kind of describe. If we arm a big political org, who's one of the things that we do is we take live stream and like live audiences and like gamer brained people, and then we say, hey, here's a volunteering opportunity, and then we serve as kind of a conduit for that. If we primarily say like a bunch of people in state X, if they're all kind of focused really hard on this campaign, and that's kind of why they're all there, when the campaign loses, or even if they win and the campaign like dissolves, what are they going to do? And what often happens is they get quiet. They fall away, or they become disillusioned, or they start like falling into other things. The rare one, some of the rare kinds of people, they will stick around and like find a couple other leadership positions or find some other stuff, but there's no like long-term resilience for the team. There's no long-term resilience for the structure, and it just kind of dissolves itself.
Yeah. It was
so what we want to do is we want to create
it part of your life.
We want to create friend groups that are themselves more resilient to each other than they are to the like the campaigns that they get associated with. So that way, when the campaigns win or lose, we still have a community and we still have people there who can do work or like have a good time regardless.
Yeah. Also, we know who we're recruiting from. It's content creator audiences. Like, you have to have a certain healthiness before you can start getting involved with candidates and talking to them. So we need people to have friends and maybe learn a few social skills first.
Yeah, I mean, politics and relationships are inexorably linked. Like they have to be linked, and it's actually really brilliant to then view kind of forming these friend groups that are real as vehicles that then carry forward political action, not just for one campaign, but for a longer term movement. Like, I think that's actually a really, I think that's a great idea.
It's actually, we've seen like we've seen parts of this play out with and I'll just say it here, our California team. That's
not going to cause any issues later.
No, I don't think it will. And here's why. Because what happened is that the California team, we had Shoykat Chakrabarti. Have you heard of Shoykat?
Yeah.
Here? Okay. He's great.
Yeah.
The Shoykat Chakrabarti, very well-run campaign, very structured, and it's very easy to volunteer for them. So what people in California, kind of everywhere, but especially in California, they realized, oh shit, we're becoming a Shoykat Chakrabarti team inside of PV as opposed to PV. And so they have deliberately taken steps to pull back a little bit from the campaign so they don't all get lost to it, and also pull into their own friend groups. So that way, when the campaign wins or loses, they have each other, and they have the broader PV community to kind of fall back on. Like that process is still kind of ongoing, and the election is tomorrow.
Yeah.
But that, like, seeing that happen and seeing all of them be a lot more committed to a long-term.
Come join.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Seeing them be committed to like the more long-term goals of sustainability of the project and also of like their own friends, seeing those kind of come together has been very, very fascinating.
Yeah, and it's been one of the things that's been, also a fun fact, I was in a VC earlier today and somebody hopped in and said, does anyone know where the Psy-Cock campaign is? And I just think that's delightful. But one of the things that I think has just been really interesting about this is that, like, when people think of the community as just a vehicle to get people to trick them into organizing, it doesn't work. But when you actually value the community for the purpose of community building, it starts to become really effective to get people to organize. And also, as long as no one in the community tricks themselves into believing that their knitting group is organizing, then we're okay. We're good.
Yeah. It sounds, I also wanted to know, how do the different state PVs decide who they are going to support?
That's really interesting. So that
is really interesting. Right now, it is kind of It slides from, this is a person who reached out to us who is relatively progressive, and we think that giving them like a slightly wider base might help, to this person's actually a genuinely incredible candidate who's very viable and we should work with them.
Sometimes leadership makes the contact and we hand it down on a stone tablet. Sometimes the teams vote on it and are like, hey, leadership, make this a priority. We've flirted with making it very democratic. It has not worked just because there's not enough scale for PV's member base in each of these states. For their, democracy requires a certain scale. So it's something I want to turn back to when there's a bit more growth. Yeah. But what we're moving towards right now, this is the model that we're currently rolling out, is national initiatives, our national team decides it. But for our state initiatives, we have something called state ranks. It's literally a league ladder from bronze to diamond. And depending
we're very gamer-brained people. Yeah.
And depending on what rank you have, which is based on the capacity of your state, how your community strength, your organizing strength, your political strength, it depends what rank you're in, and that will determine how many different state initiatives you can have, how many slots you have to do initiatives at a time. And if your team's small enough, you will have 0, and you'll be like, well, I guess I need to focus on hitting some targets and actually having a volunteer or two. But if you have a slot, the way it would be decided is you write up a proposal using our proposal form, which we're working on, and you'll submit it to our mobilization team. And the deference will be, it's approved unless we find a already defined, a already laid out for everybody to see rule or condition. And the mobilization team will then review it, do the approval, and then it will go back to the team and basically say, okay, now you need to assemble your strike team to actually coordinate this event. And the idea being there that the limitation of having a set amount of slots that they can do gives the team the ability and the flexibility and also the incentive structure to make sure that the proposal they come to us with is something that everyone's invested in. Because if the team gets something approved that the rest of the state doesn't want to do, that state team is going to get cooed. And leftists love infighting. I don't know if you know this.
I'm somewhat familiar, yeah.
So it's sort of the artificial scarcity. It's not artificial scarcity. The structured scarcity of not having infinite capacity forces everybody to sort of make the most optimal decisions and most inclusive decisions about who they actually want to use their capacity on and how. And sometimes a team might say, fuck it, we just want to do a research team. And we don't want to organize at all. And we might laugh at them, but sure, go for it. Let's see if it works. And sometimes people will be like, I want to maintain a bus stop in New Mexico.
Our New Mexico team decided to do it. They made posters. The posters look rad.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Love it.
But normally it looks like, okay, let's do a state initiative for a candidate and let's do some phone banking and canvassing.
Okay. Can I ask, because I know people are going to wonder about this. Where does the funding for PV come from? Whoa. Especially given that there's a bunch of questions about, folks on the right are taking Russian money. Where does the money come from?
So there's a lot of jokes made about PV being a slush fund for Destiny. We don't do that.
Okay, good. That's good.
Here's the thing. Half of PV's revenue is community funded. So we have a dues paying membership program. Show the memberip card, Jenny. We need to show.
I literally thought before getting on stream to go grab my membership card, and it's on the ground or it's in my wallet, which is on the ground next to my chair, and I don't want to go get it because I'm lazy.
Incredible. Worth every penny. So half of it is through our community fundraising program, our membership cards, our merch. We started our membership program in January. It really took off in January 2025. It started in mid 2024. And We went at the beginning of January from less than $2,000 a month to now we are making almost $20,000 a month just from our dues paying membership.
Damn.
Our operating cost is about $35,000 a month. The rest of that money comes from me. So I joined PV as a community donor. If anyone here has watched Vosh, I give a lot of super chats to people. So I have had inheritance from my family. If people find that interesting, I'm happy to talk about it. So right now I give about $15,000 a month to PV. With the idea being that as the dues paying membership grows, the amount that I will give to PV decreases, so that way I don't have to use my own personal wealth to fund the org, because it leads to some luckily, I like to think I'm a pretty decent person and don't weaponize power against my political enemies. But I could, and that's not a good thing. And the fact that I'm donating to PV instead of being paid by them is probably not a good thing.
You're my favorite class trader, Benjamin.
As for how PV was funded before we did this, there were donors. Some were community donors like me. I know I donated about $100,000 to PV for the Wisconsin event we did. We did the big fundraisers with Vosh and Destiny and a few other creators. But there's also obviously been other orgs that have given PV money, other PACs that have given PV money. Obviously, we've never taken like corporate money, but like there were pretty, honestly, in a lot of cases, pretty progressive donors who were just giving money to PV as part of their broader, like, I'm just giving money now. We've moved away from that, and frankly, probably shouldn't have been doing it in the first place, but I think it's quite reasonable when trying to start something this ambitious.
Mm-hmm.
So,
by the way, speaking of memberships, Benjamin, we should get Riverboat a card.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, we should.
We should do that.
If she becomes a dues paying member, we should totally do that.
Yes, I will. Hello.
It's $5 a month.
So, another question from the chat. Is this org affiliated with Destiny? People are asking that.
No.
No.
Like, is that a meme?
It is. So PV.
We used to have ties. We cut those ties very deliberately.
So PV in 2023, as part of that strategy I mentioned before of let's unite the audiences of the big three, we had Vosh, we wanted to get Destiny, and we wanted to get Hassan. And that's actually why we brought in Brianna Wu, because at the time, just red flags aside, she was quite well liked in the space, and had a lot of connections that Sam just did not have. And especially for Destiny, she was able to set up those connections. And what it led to is the burgeoning and developing Destiny canvassing program sort of integrated into PV. It has since extricated itself from PV and has become its own org, which a lot of people there who I absolutely love and respect. And if you're a DGGer, please go organize there and not PV. But that
or maybe do organize PV. We'll fix you.
That's true. So no, we don't work with Destiny anymore. We beef regularly. We don't represent really that political project.
We are not liberals. We do not want to be thought of as liberals. We want to be thought of as like socialists who are politically effective.
We want to be thought of as people who actually can accomplish something instead of smugly pretending that we're the people who can accomplish something.
Fair. Another question, and I'm not entirely sure how to, I'm just going to read it verbatim since I'm not entirely sure exactly the question. Why transit to state capitals? Many states, the most important cities are not the capital.
There's a really good reason why. There's a really good reason why.
So the reason for this is because we need transit no, fuck you. I'm the autistic train boy here, okay? I take this one. The reason for that is because if we're going to get mass high-speed rail infrastructure, if we fund the capitals, they're obviously going to do the big cities. But if we don't mandate the big cities, they will never get it. Or just the capitals, they will never get it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because it's basically like the idea is that if we're building like amazing amounts of high speed, if we manage to start building amazing amounts of high speed rail everywhere in the United States, hopefully economy of scale would dictate that the more of it you do, the cheaper it is going to get per like mile of track laid. So if you mandate for everything the same way, you can then, bonus effect, you get your bigger cities that are not capitals linked up as well. And you get your capital cities linked up to the network as well, which means that maybe your bigger capital city, or your capital cities can maybe actually become cities.
And also civic participation and engagement becomes easier.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
you can get on the train and go protest outside the state capitol, or maybe not protest outside the state capitol. You just get on the train and go testify for a bill that you think is good, or testify against a bill you think is bad.
And that in turn also makes it easier to create additional routes from the state capitol to wherever you need to go.
Yeah,
exactly.
I love that is on the that's on the agenda, because honestly, it genuinely makes sense.
No, you go. Sorry, you go.
Oh, I was just saying it makes sense. Like the need for high speed rail is real and there, and it's just so damn efficient.
Yeah, it's a big country.
Yeah,
it's a big country. It's I hear one of the biggest. And
supposedly
like sea to shining sea or some shit like that.
It's not just that Europe is like so much more connected. It's also just so much smaller. Like if we are going to have a functioning United States, we really need a way to travel between them. It's sort of like a civic democracy problem in a very real way. Although the one that we do get shit for on the PV pledge is number 9, where it's like, make React streaming better. And it's like, okay, well, we also need our content creators to be able to have an audience. Thank you.
I mean, I would settle for like basic data protection, universal data protection at this point. Like, God,
we'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get it. We'll get it.
So actually, it's not represented here because the PV pledge actually has 2 sections. There's what we call the tenets, which are sort of mandatory philosophical statements, like don't take corporate money, or be willing to collaborate with other people who take the pledge. If you go to progress.win/pledge, you can actually see all of it.
The kind of collaboration that we're talking about is, I mean, a lot of kinds of collaboration, but one of it is like, talk to other campaigns, please, God.
Yes,
talk to other campaigns, talk to other candidates. Don't like one of the biggest problems that we see in not one of the biggest problems, but a large problem that we see amongst hopefuls and candidates running for office is that they are terrified to talk to any other candidate for like a bunch of very strange reasons. When in fact, what we've seen is that as we start to network some of these candidates together, they all get stronger as a group.
That's actually why I really love working with Shoykot, because he was like the only person who just like intuitively got this, probably because, Justice Dems.
Yeah.
But yeah, like when it comes to data protection, one of the things we put as like the mandatory and like the tenets, it kind of sticks out because it's like the only policy in there is that, hey, be like a zealous advocate for keeping Section 230 and for and for like not wanting pictures of everyone's genitals just to log into Facebook.
Yeah.
Like,
we may have said some choice words about Discord.
we may have said it was the Israelification of Discord.
Yeah. Speaking of, where does PV stand when it comes to Gaza, for example? I know that's going to be one that like a lot of people are going to ask just as like a prerequisite for even like clicking on any links or engaging with this any further.
River to the sea, baby.
Yeah, cool. So I was born Jewish, so I obviously believe that every Arabic person is the enemy. No, we are. It's a genocide. It's evil, and it's worse than it being a genocide. It really is inconvenient to have to keep talking about politically when we're trying to fight fascism. So from like the cynical liberal perspective, if there are any of those listening, you should be against a fascist, theoretically allied country influencing and manipulating our own democracy. And from a moral perspective, you should be against blowing up babies. Just trying to create this
bad.
This insane delusion that the thing that makes people like Jews like me safe is for Israel to go out there and piss off all of the people who already don't like us and be an ethno-state. It's stupid. So we're in favor of a one-state secular democracy.
Fair. Another question from the chat. What is PV's overall stance on AI slop?
Also don't like it. Our media department has gone out of its way to avoid using any AI in anything they do. Our tech team, by and large, has done the same thing. There were actually in previous.
We're pretty ban happy on people who are pro AI in New York.
We do enjoy it when people post an AI slop and then everybody in the community fucking dogpiles them and then they get mad and get banned about it. It's a very fun time when it happens.
We kind of have one rule when it comes to AI, and if it's not something that Kyle Kalinske posted, it's gonna get you in trouble.
Kyle needs to cut that shit out.
It's really funny sometimes, though, to see the conservatives get pissed off.
Sometimes it hits, but not as often as I think he thinks it does. But
yeah, I don't know. I'm a MS Paint pre AI slop kind of gal. Like I want my memes. If you can't draw it in basic bitch MS Paint, I don't want that meme at all.
But what about the accessibility needs of people who can't draw? Have you thought about that?
They should make friends who can draw.
Well, I guess they'll have to just join PV.
Exactly, where people can draw.
Making friends is for wokies. I'm sorry.
It's true. It's true. Only the woke make friends.
Mm-hmm.
So also here, I think that there are a few other questions, but I missed them. So I am also just going to ask, when it comes to folks who would be interested in like doing the volunteer work of Progressive Victory, because like it's basically almost entirely volunteer run and maintained, right?
Yes, as far as majority of it is volunteer run and maintained.
We just got our first employees because of the growth of the Deuce Peg membership.
Mm-hmm.
So Jenny is one. Right now it's just our director class and then one.
Not even all of them either.
Not even all of them. With the goal that we're trying to raise our revenue, so that way the people who are currently being volunteer leadership, doing like full-time work to help run these teams and to help manage these things, can make a living at PV. And we kind of want to expand that as much as we can and see how big we can go. But I kind of forgot what the question was. Fuck me. Okay.
Like the question, like PV is largely volunteer organized and made up of like volunteers. So like if somebody were interested in like getting directly into that organizing structure, like is it basically they join the Discord and then just say that's what they're interested in and then they're tried out?
Yeah.
You join the Discord and you either go to
it's very I'm going to speak over a man now. I'm sorry. It's very dependent on like what a person wants to get involved in. Like if they want to get involved in like various phone banking efforts, they can absolutely do so. If they want to get involved in like research efforts where we're like, hey, there's a candidate that we want to look into. Let's see if we can dig up everything about them that we can, their policies, their stances, their history, so that way we can have like various things on them. That's also a thing. If they have any media savvy skills, AV skills, design skills, music. Like we have a team working on preparing like a lot more content in that space. Just hosting events. Like if you're like a personality and you like presenting stuff, we have an entire team whose job is to coordinate events throughout the org because we have a lot of them.
And
like
obviously
it's really whatever people want to contribute. We almost certainly have a spot that you can contribute.
Yeah, just when you join, just look for the channel that either is the skill team name, so like programming or audio video or researching, or just look for your state chat and be like, this is what I'm fucking interested in. And trust me, there will be a lot of people who are like,
yes.
We could use you.
Yep. So there's a lot of and if you get into the big server and you feel a little intimidated, that is okay. There is after some amount of time, you'll receive like a ping in the server from like a welcome post where there's someone on the welcome team whose job is to like have a semi-private conversation in a forum post to give you like directions on where you can go.
Yeah.
So
and
question,
we will always have continue.
I was just going to ask how, because we all exist on the internet. We all know like there are bad actors out there, either intentionally or otherwise. And like, how does PV kind of prevent bad actors from like going deep, I guess, into the org and like fucking shit up?
Gonna be honest, there's a lot of people who come in and try to fuck up things. A lot of the time the community deals with it for us, and they leave. But for the people who are truly malicious and want to do like a psyop, I'm not sure if we're gonna catch it right now. I'm gonna be
if you're a bad actor, don't use that as an excuse to fuck us over. Don't do it. Don't join our org. Say a bunch of sweet
do not do it.
Get us all killed.
We have a good moderation team. It's really strong. We catch a lot of shit. I like to think that we're prepared, but to be completely honest, it's sort of like I want my Second Amendment rights so that the government can steamroll me with a drone. I don't know what we're gonna deal with. Yeah. So for people who are really, really paranoid, I'll just be honest. Like, I think you're fine, and I think genuinely, having been one of the moderators of like the autism subreddit, like having been moderators of a ton of different communities, I think we're one of the best when it comes to this.
Okay. I also wanted to ask, because this is kind of maybe a very basic question I should have asked earlier. How big is PV? Like, what is the like how big is like the base?
Membership is around like 10,000 people in the server,
and about 20,000 people in general.
Yeah, and in terms of our active volunteer base, because PV's been around for a while and has changed a couple of times, we're kind of in the process of, as you can tell, probably rebuilding and building up a lot of our systems to like handle a lot of volunteers and just start reaching out to people who were previously involved in PV or who joined and got intimidated and kind of sank back into the distance. We're reaching back out to a lot of these people to re-engage them, and we've had a lot of success in doing so.
Yeah, but I can give the exact number because we have StatBot. I can just open it and see what the the exact number of active unique server members is each week. It's about
with Ocho in your chat is saying those sound like good numbers. The numbers are good enough that when all the PV directors went to the Democratic National Convention meeting in New Orleans 2 months ago, everyone knew who we were.
Yeah, I had time to talk to Ken Martin, which, by the way, boy, was that a fun convo. About 631 unique people who participated in at least 30 minutes in the VC, in the last week.
And that's at least 30 minutes, 600 unique people in voice chats. And that's one of the higher bars of interaction.
That's also within a relatively closed ecosystem. Like I remember maybe like a year ago, I took a look at what the main Democrats were doing on their YouTube channel. And that's just on the open internet. And like, I get better numbers and I'm not a big content creator. And like the fact that you have that level of participation in a closed ecosystem is incredibly impressive, especially when it comes to the fact that these are all people who are the most primed to get involved in like different political campaigns. Because
and also you have to give quite a lot of info. You're basically registering to a political party to join. You're giving basically all but your address. You're giving your like name and phone number and email and zip code just to be able to join that server. So
the zip code is so that if weird shit happens, we can and we suspect that people are in danger, we can maybe get
it's for a few things. It's for wellness checks. It's so we can, if we need to. It's for moderation. But most importantly, it's so that way you can be assigned your state role and so that you can be engaged. And it's also a way that we can anonymize it and then create like a heat map of that you see on the website of how many people per state.
This actually brings up another question to me. What does PV do with that data? Because I know a lot of political orgs will like sell that or share it around.
We will not sell it.
Like I sign up for one petition and suddenly I get, text messages from 50 different candidates in the Democratic Party that I have no idea who they are and do not give a fuck.
We will never farm out information of our volunteers. Yeah, under any circumstances.
In not any circumstances. There will be specific circumstances where we ask each individual, hey, a candidate wants list of volunteers in their area. Would you like your name to be sent? And you will have to opt in on a specific basis, but we're not even fucking there yet. Yeah. What we do with the data is we've put a lot of work to make sure it is as secure and air-gapped as possible. The main thing that it is that for a very small number of people with access, it can be seen. What it's going to open up a little bit because we want state leads to be able to see some of it. So for example, the ability to just make lists of who's there, but depending on what permissions you have in the database we're making, you'll only be able to see some information about some people. We have a lot of really, really passionate and really, really knowledgeable volunteers and security people on our engineering team that have done
it is shocking. It is shocking how many of them have cybersecurity backgrounds. It is shocking. Yeah.
So, and they are very, very passionate about keeping people's data secure, especially in an environment where lists like these are being fucking shared all the time.
So, question from the audience related to that. What if someone wants to join, but they don't have like a real phone number? They only have like a Google number or something like that.
That presents an issue right now. Part of the way the answer is you probably won't be able to join unless you email us specifically and we find a way to, and like we manually enter you. So it's really laborious and we'll do it when it comes up. But right now, because of our security concerns, our system is so specific that if you didn't, like to be able to include Google Voice numbers, which is something we've looked into, it would open up such a can of worms in our current state that we couldn't trust that we could keep everything safe. I will admit that I do not know what I'm talking about here when it comes to this. I'm just relaying what I've been told.
What's the email that if people are interested and they don't have a valid phone number, what's the email that they can send that to? Is that at hello?
Hello at Progress, community at Progress. There's a million. It'll be on the intake form.
Yeah.
When you go to the volunteer page. But also we're going to be reworking it in the future as well, so that you don't need to give a phone number to have an account on the website and to show up to different events in person. You'll always need a phone number to get into the server in some way. We need to have people's phone number. It's both just because, as political parties, you have to give information to register, but also specifically in that, like, if PV were operating like a political party, we would need that information for registering because we need to be able to reach out to people to inform them of stuff, but also just like we need it as a security gap. Like if you are willing to give your number, you are significantly less likely to like rabble rouse and be a shithead. And if you're looking to try and break into our system and leak it, then at the very least, you're going to be leaking yourself too.
Yeah, it's also partially a way of preventing
management system.
It's getting all that information is also partially a way of preventing like brigading and raids.
Yeah.
Because why would 1,000 people give us their phone number when they're just all going to get banned?
So additionally, I was just kind of wondering, like, what kind of numbers have you seen PV be able to turn out for, in particular, in the lead up to, I don't know whether PV is actually like engaged in door knocking yet, or if it's still too far out, or...
Oh, no, we do it all the time.
Yeah, so like what kind of numbers for different candidates have you kind of been seeing? Like just a few examples. Because I'm curious, right? Because when I first started getting involved with PV, like it was kind of like, oh, like 20 people working together can like change like state level politics in some cases.
We have some phone banks that have gone up to 40 or 50 people for a 1 hour shift. For Mamdani, we did about 70,000
phone calls,
phone bank dials. Deja Fox, we did about 20.
I think it's like 20,
I think we
30.
did 50 for Afton Bain. For Analilia Mejia, I think we're going to hit the 70,000 number as well. Mm-hmm. If it's a national initiative, we're usually getting at least 50,000 like phone bank dials, and usually around 5,000 doors knocked.
And like
canvassing.
Just so that other people can kind of have a point of comparison, how does that stack up to other organizing groups and methods out there?
This is great. I love this stat. So we have been able to get as low as $1 per door knock when we do canvassing. Elon Musk's America PAC in 2024 did $166 per door knock, with industry average being $8 per door knock. I once said that $1 per door knock number to Van Jones, and his jaw fucking dropped. In an airport bathroom, mind you. Which
why were you talking to Van Jones in an airport bathroom?
I ran into him at the airport, and he was literally at the entrance of the bathroom, facing a corner on his phone. And I'm just like, that motherfucking Van Jones? I just went up to him and I pitched PV. and now we talk.
Oh, that's impressive. To give people an idea, just having a baseline of a community of like 30,000 people-ish that is willing to get politically engaged and then willing to volunteer time and effort on the scale of PV is genuinely
20,000 people.
Yeah, it's like 20.
Oh, 20,000 people? Is genuinely like game-changing on even like I would say even on like a national scale.
Yeah, It's massive. It makes us, at the very least, one of the 5 biggest socialist orgs in the country. I think it makes us the 2nd biggest socialist org in the country, behind the DSA.
Yeah.
And it definitely makes us one of the 10 biggest Democratic, like, political orgs that is not literally in the Democratic Party.
Mm-hmm. And like we have swung. We have like made the kind of margins that could theoretically have swung a couple of elections. The one that
we've swung a few.
The 2 that immediately come to mind are Katie Wilson out in Seattle. Mm-hmm. Like the amount of doors that we knocked could theoretically, like, that on its own could have swung in her direction. One that we're a little bit more firm on is Analilia Mejia out in New Jersey. We basically, like, the amount of votes that were contributed, that is almost certainly within PV's phone banking margins.
Both were. I'm actually more convinced about the Katie Wilson one being than Mejia, but that's not to say that I don't think there was we were one of 2 national orgs that did that race, the other one being WFP, which is where Mejia's from. Had any of the 19 orgs, any one of us, the 2 national, one, us and WFP, and then the other 17, like, state-specific orgs, if any one of us had not participated in that race, she would have lost. It was the fact that we all got together and we were like, okay, this seems like an opportunity, but we all have to commit here. And it was a real, like, beautiful moment of working together on the left.
Plus, AIPAC completely sabotaged her opponent, which is very funny.
Extremely funny.
Yeah,
extremely funny.
And then she got and then she almost pissed everyone off accepting the J Street endorsement, but then it turned out that
J Street somehow is
got J Street to concede to her.
It's very weird.
J Street is somehow more progressive on Gaza than the Democratic Party as a whole. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I didn't see that one coming.
Did it. Well, I think in a large part,
not that I like them, but still,
I don't like them either. Like, it's
in large
blows
part,
my mind.
In large part, they're seeing what's happening to AIPAC, and they want to, like, preserve a lot of these connections. And I think that they view it as they view their maneuver as a way to continue to have that influence, but without the deadly baggage politically, the political poison.
Yeah, they're still trying to keep the Zionist project alive.
Yeah,
but in the meantime, if we make them concede more, then that's part of momentum.
At the very least, a moral victory where we got the J Street and APAC Twitter accounts to fight over us.
Yeah. So I just want people to understand what PV is doing is unique. It's very successful, and also it's
very fun.
It's also very fun, but it's also a vehicle where I know that there are a lot of people in my community in particular who are fed up with Democrats, and also who might be alienated for whatever reason from their local DSA, or they might be in a deep red state and they don't really have a vehicle to change things in their immediate area. But PV is everywhere, and wherever you are in this country, you can volunteer for campaigns elsewhere, to go door knock, to go phone bank, to get involved, and you can build up local community as well. Like, you can do a whole bunch of things that DSA and your local Democrats might not have the machinery to do. This is like an additional way, an additional option available to you that I want you guys to be aware of. It's why I invited you guys onto the stream tonight. It's why I want to talk more about PV going forward, especially as we go towards the midterms and like these big electoral targets that are going to require all of us getting as organized as we possibly can. So I want you guys in the audience to have all of the tools available to you. All right?
Like, one of the reasons why I have been so interested in PV is because and I think many people in the audience might be able to sympathize
it wasn't
with
my loving charm.
No, absolutely not. One of the things about PV is that, like, I grew up in like a lot of like isolated suburban areas, which I imagine that a lot of people in this audience can kind of sympathize with. Like, you're not really in any city centers. You're not really around any actual like infrastructure. You're not really around any community areas. It requires like 5 minutes of driving just to get out of the subdivision. Like, I know that's not everybody. That's a lot of people. That was me. It made it extremely difficult, and there was a lot of roadblocks and barriers to getting involved with any political action whatsoever, because you'd have to drive halfway across town to get to a thing, or you have to drive to like a different town to get involved with the thing. PV allows you to, like, at the very least, experience that national community. And even if there aren't a ton of people in your area, you can still get involved nationally. We have a ton of national stuff that's going on everywhere all the time, even if it's not directly electoral. Even like, you can get involved kind of anywhere. We like to think of it as a digital third space, because it's not at work and it's not at home. It's a digital place to hang out.
This is really recent. Like, all of 2025, it was like one initiative per month. But now we are at a point where we are so connected with campaigns and have such capacity that every day of the week, there are 2 national initiative phone banks that each last 3 hours, from 5 p.m. From the 5 to 8 p.m. slot locally for that race. So every day, pretty much every day, there's always 2 big phone banks that can be happening. And if there's a race in your area, then there's local canvassing. If there's shit, there's shit. Another thing we're rolling out is something called advocacy banking, which is just calling voters and then picking anything on the PV pledge you like and autistically ranting about it to them, and then logging how amenable they were to that policy. Nobody else would ever waste their time doing this because it is horribly inefficient. But at our scale, what we hope to do is build up a really sophisticated list of candidates that are amenable to certain policies, and then maybe make
voters
that are amenable to certain policies, and then make the world's best phone banking and canvassing lists for candidates. Because we just have that scale, and we might accidentally just convince random voters to be in favor of a specific policy, regardless of the R or D associated with it.
Do you find annoying that it takes an hour to drive from the town that you're in to the better town that's next to you, but it's still expensive to live there? You should
Do you want your streamer to be able to watch React content without
They don't care.
Do you think that
they live to see me suffer?
The total interest paid at 100% of the principal.
There you go. But I do. You told me about this when we had our meeting last week, and I just think that that's such a great idea to basically build up a cache of information about what people in different geographic areas actually do give a damn about, what they care about, how they react to different things, because typically you don't get that if you're a local or hyper local campaign. And like that is some really valuable intel.
I'm so sorry to completely derail. How did you say that word?
Cache.
Huh. I've heard it pronounced a couple different ways. That's the first time I've ever heard it pronounced cache. I've heard it pronounced cache and cache. I pronounce it cache, but
I'm from the Midwest. It has quiche vibes. It has quiche vibes. I don't know what to tell you. I have an English degree. What I say makes it more valid somehow.
What's really funny about the idea?
I agree. Whoever in chat said that it's cash.
What's really funny about the advocacy banking is when we started trying to come up with it, we were like, we need some low level. I don't give a fuck. I don't care about your linguistic battle over here. We were looking for some low level, entry level task that would be really easy for somebody, that would just always exist for people to just 24/7 volunteer, some easy task. And we genuinely did not care if it had any impact whatsoever. Like, we were like, as long as it feels like people are volunteering, that's okay. We just need something to get. And then we accidentally stumbled into probably one of the most valuable things that we were going to end up doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
In addition to all the technology that we want to make for making organizing easier.
So thank you both for coming on. We got to move on to our other topics, but I do want to...
Oh shit, we've been here for over an hour. Oh my god.
But folks, if you want to get more involved with PV, go to progress.win. If you want to like join up, you can go to progress.win/join. And I'm sure we'll see more of one or both of you in the future as we
hopefully
tackle different campaigns and get involved and put this community to work in the upcoming electoral battles. And I'm sure I will get absolutely roasted for like the next 30 minutes to an hour over pronouncing cache
incorrectly.
Oh, it's probably, it's almost certainly incorrect, but I am going to get roasted for it. I love that Uncle Simric tried to help by saying it's pronounced and then typing exactly the word that I am saying incorrectly. It's like pronounced cache. Oh, it makes so much sense. Cache, yeah.
I mean, you know, I just got a tier 1 subscription from Sake Tanuki. I might as well be annoying in your chat on occasion.
Hell yeah.
True.
And folks, just in the community, we'll have different members of PV kind of progressive victory mods in our Discord. And if you have questions about PV or anything like that, you can always hit them up and ask about what is going on. So there you go. We'll be doing more cool stuff, but I just wanted to introduce you guys to PV and give you guys an opportunity to ask questions.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us on. And if you're in tomorrow or today, based on if this is
we have a big push for a couple of really big candidates.
Yeah. We have Hamaway phone banks tomorrow, Shoycott phone banks tomorrow. I think there's a Katie Banzel phone bank or canvas tomorrow or something. New Jersey, California, South Dakota, a bunch of other fucking states. If you live in any of those states, please go vote tomorrow. And if you don't live in those states and you want to volunteer, there is so many ways to volunteer. We are starting our volunteering tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern, and we are going all day. And then me and Jenny are going to be on camera fucking around while watching the polls.
And if none of you in chat are like, I don't care about Adam Hamawi, legendary doctor that saved people's lives in Gaza, or Shoykat Chakrabarti, organizing royalty, who's like one of the most interesting candidates to run this cycle.
And he's running for Nancy Pelosi's seat, right?
He is in fact running for Nancy Pelosi's seat.
Yeah.
It looks like a dead heat. It's going to be an interesting time tomorrow watching those polls roll in. But if any of you are like that with the Riverboat Jack, have you ever met an individual by the name of Josie Caballero?
I have. We co-host the Transatlantic Call-In show together.
That's crazy. It's almost like I knew that beforehand, and I was using this as an opportunity to bring her up.
Wow.
If you want to see Riverboat Jack's one of Riverboat Jack's co-hosts talk about or run for office and maybe win elections, we're going to be doing phone banks for her in early to mid-June after these big initiatives are over, because she is running for county council in Maryland.
Yep.
We want to fucking get her to win, because she's been around in PV for a long time as well.
Yeah, for sure. She was
also
on
become a dues-paying member.
Yeah,
true.
The more people become dues-paying members, the more cool shit PV can do. So
the more people who become dues-paying members, the less money I get to take
the
from
directors.
Benjamin. Yeah, the less
you can steal power away from Benjamin by becoming a dues-paying member.
Trust me, if 2025 was indicated any way, that is one of the most popular activities that happen in the org.
Chat, I don't think many people or anybody here knows this. Benjamin eats nothing but Chick-fil-A, or not Chick-fil-A, but Chipotle, and drinks nothing but like Mexican Coke from Chipotle.
Okay, wait. Chipotle is an excellent source of all the vital nutrients you need to live, and Mexican Coke is objectively superior to normal Coke.
Boom!
I'm getting mugged. I can't do this.
Get the fuck out of here.
His money is stained. I wish to have it clean from dues-paying members. Okay.
Shake my damn head. Someone wants to know: if you're not a dues-paying member, do you still get to access the Discord?
Oh, of course.
Absolutely,
yeah, no, it's optional.
It's optional. To be a dues-paying member, being a dues-paying member gives you a couple like benefits within the Discord, including access to our dues-paying members only Minecraft server.
Fuck you. Okay.
But it is in order to just kind of like hang out and even volunteer on teams, you do not need to be a dues-paying member if you want to volunteer, or even just be involved.
Sick. Well, thank you to both of you for coming on. Appreciate you immensely, and thank you for all of the hard work both of you have been doing. It means a lot. So thank you for putting together one of the most effective organizing tools available to folks like us on who are relatively considered relatively far left as socialists.
Leftoids ourselves, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't just us, but there's a lot of people who have contributed to making this work. So
another great question before you go. Last one, I'm going to say.
The Midwestern goodbye, it claims us all eventually.
I know. Do people have to be American to join?
No. You do need to be American to contribute financially. You do not need to be American to join or even volunteer.
There you go.
Well, legally, that is the case. However, right now, if you are not a U.S. citizen living abroad or a U.S. resident, you will have a little bit of difficulty joining the Discord server because you need a North American phone number. So,
okay,
send emails to wherever the onboarding form says to send emails to.
Yeah, but it is possible.
It is possible.
They'll try and get you sorted.
Mm-hmm. We'll figure it out.
Jenny and Benjamin from PV, thank you both for coming on tonight. You both have an excellent evening.
You too. Thank you so much.
Yep. Have a great night, everybody.
Farewell. Whew. That was fun. I like talking about organizing. And I dislike being roasted for the way I pronounce certain words. But you know what? We can have a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. I think you guys enjoy when you get to roast me for saying things wrong. It's look, I know it's pronounced cash. I know that. But also, it looks, when you have cash, and cachet all next to each other, I just read them all the same. Cash. I got some cold hard cash. I say it like that because I don't deal with cash that often. But when I do, I say it silly. Anyway, folks, get involved with PV. Okay, we're going to be doing a lot more cool stuff. We're going to be doing a lot of like fun organizing, etc., etc., etc. All right? What's next? Will we have some quiche patel? There we go. This is the kind of roasting that I knew was coming and I crave. You're all just giving me what I want. Excellent. Well done. Well done, everybody. Anyway, folks, progress.win. Go check it out. Go get involved. Or progress.win/join to join up. Do the things. I'll throw the links down in my video description. You can find it there. Join your local Dems. Join your local DSA, obviously, and also do cool shit. You know, like the video. You know, the cool shit for the channel.
Everyone, did you exercise today? The fascists did. Why haven't you?
Also, excellent reminder from Uncle Simric. Thank you for the $5 super chat. And also, check out ImogeneOlivia.com. Gender euphoric lingerie designed from the ground up for trans femmes. Coder Joe, thank you for the 2 tier 1
Getting
subs.
roasted for pronunciation seems a bit gauche.
Oh, text-to-speech read that wrong. Obviously, it's gauche.
Riverboat deck is going to town. All the viewers gather round. Twitch and YouTube and swishy streams. All that content is bursting the seams. Politics, gaming, and plenty more. Your sense of fashion you'll adore. So grab your stuff and hop aboard. We're going straight to Jack's Discord.